So basically we were able to push the code from our local repository to the remote repository, right? And then we followed some steps and it is done. Now that was your first commit, right? But what if you want to do some more? You want to build the entire project and you want to push. Of course, you will not do it from normal command prompt. You will be using some IDE to build your project. Now, this can be for normal book writing as well, or making a video script as well. But let's stick to VS Code here. So of course, you can use any IDE for that matter, or any editor. So if you're using a normal notepad, of course, you have to use a terminal, a command prompt external to your editor. But since in VS Code, we have editor as well, and then we got terminal. So what I will do is, first of all, if I want to use VS Code, I have to open that folder. Now, which folder? Now, if you go back to your terminal, this is where we are, right? So if I clear, and if I say pwd, which is present working directory, I am into this folder, which is git source. So whatever files we have here is into this particular folder, which is git source. Now I will open that in VS Code. So I will click on file. I will say open folder. It's into Naveen, git course, open. So basically I have opened the same folder. Okay. So we got that file here, right? So if I open this, this has the same content which we had earlier. But what I will do is, instead of working on this file, let me add some more files, or at least one file. So I will say, let me say this is my user service .txt. Now, basically, let's say if you're building an application, the reason I'm doing txt is because it can be any programming language, right? Java, Python, C#, it's your choice. So let's say if you're saying user service, we are building an application where I want to do something with user service. Maybe I want to accept user data. I want to process some data on it. So let's say user service. And here I will say, get the user data. So that's it, nothing fancy, just one line of code. In fact, this can be a normal programming code as well, but just to keep it simple for all the languages, we are using a normal text. So we are saying get the user data and save. Now, if you see this particular file is there in your working directory, it is not even there in Git. And also this file is not even there on the GitHub. This is what we want to push on GitHub. How will I do that? So let's go back to VS Code. And if you want to do any of this, we have to say new terminal. And we got a terminal here. And here, basically, we have to say git status. Now, when you say git status, you can see we have a git repository inside this particular folder. But this file, which is user service.txt, it is untracked. We need to track it. So how will you do it? It's very simple. To track it, we can simply say git add, and you can mention the file, which is user service.txt, enter. And now we have added that into staging area. How will I know that? Let's say git status, and you can see now it's into staging area and we can commit it. How will I commit? Git, at least I think at this point you remember all the commands, right? So git commit -m, and you can pass a message. So you can say user service created. Now it's always a good idea to type at the same time when you're watching this video so that you will know what is happening, right? So here, if I say git commit, and now we have committed it, and that's why you can see the U here went off now. Okay, committing done. But does that mean it is available on GitHub? No. We have done the commit on the local machine, right? Now we need to push it on the GitHub. And for that, we have to remember that command, git push. So let's use git push, and then you have to mention origin. So basically for pushing, we have to say push, and the origin is the URL. Remember the URL which we have used before? That is what is representing this origin. And then you have to mention the branch. The branch is main. We are pushing on main branch. I will say enter. It will take some time, and done. You can see pushing is done. So from your local machine to the GitHub, let's verify. Go back to GitHub now. It's still not here. Refresh. And you got it. So you can see we got this file, which is user service.txt. And if you open this, you can see we got the data, which it says get user data. It is available now. Right? So let's get back to our project. These are the two files we have. And if you observe, we have two commits here. Now, what are the two commits? If I open this, two commits here. This is the first commit which we have done, where we created one file, which is readme.md. And this is your second commit, which is user service created. Now, you can actually, at any given point, you can go back to the earlier version where you don't have, let's say if you don't want user service, I can click on this particular file, and it will give you the status of that commit. So in the first commit, we had only one file, right? That's what you can do. So it's fun to navigate between different commits if you want to go back to any commit and if you want to see what changes you have made. In fact, you can click on the file as well to see the changes. So if I go back here and if I go back to any file, okay, let's go to commit and click on any commit here. So it will mention what changes you have made. So we have created this file which is readme.md and this is the change you have made. In fact, you can go to that other commit as well, which is here, and you can see what changes you have made. Of course, it makes sense when you have multiple files and you can see all the files which are changed. Okay, so that's how basically you add your files to the remote repository.